When you see somebody bring out a Texas sheet cake, you know you're in for a good time. Texas sheet cake is something I've only become familiar with since moving to the United States. For those of you who don't know, it is a big chocolate cake cooked in a sheet pan, so it's nice and big and thin. You cover it in frosting, sometimes you top it with toasted nuts. It is absolutely delicious. It is great for sharing, great for a crowd, really impressive and absolutely delicious. I did put a secret ingredient in my sheet cake, so you're gonna have to keep on watching to find out what that is. Sheet cake could not be simpler to make. I have a nice big bowl here and I'm going to lay a sieve over it. Into this, I'm going to add in my flour and my sugar. So check this out. This is my secret ingredient. Do you know what this is? This is black cocoa powder. It is really beautiful. So let me tell you a little bit about this. It has been heavily Dutched. That's why it has this color. It's way less bitter. It is smoother. It actually doesn't taste as much like chocolate as the regular cocoa powder. So just so you can imagine this, if you think of an Oreo cookie, how that has that kind of chocolate dark flavor, that's what this cocoa powder tastes like. It's really delicious. Now, if you don't have this, however, don't worry about it. Just use regular cocoa powder and your cake will still be amazing. Next, add in your baking soda and a little bit of salt. And then just sieve all these ingredients together. So now I always use a sieve when using cocoa powder because it can be a little bit damp and there can be lumps in there. You just want to make sure you get those out. So if you see here, there's a few lumps of cocoa powder left in the sieve. This is why I always sieve it, so your cake ends up really smooth and fine. Okay, let's set our dry ingredients over to the side and I'm going to bring in my wet ingredients. So in this jug, I have some buttermilk. Now I adore using buttermilk in chocolate cakes because it makes it really tender and soft, and that's exactly what this cake is. It is so soft. Into this, I'm going to add in some water, a little bit of flavorless oil like vegetable oil, canola oil, anything you have, and vanilla extract. And then lastly, I'm going to crack in some eggs. Just give that a quick mix up just to break up those eggs, like that. And then simply add your wet into your dry. And then with the whisk, all we want to do is bring this together to form a batter. You don't want to overmix it. So just check that out. It looks like black lava almost. It's insane. You get a really amazing flavor and a look from this cake. Like I said, only mix it until it comes together. We don't want to overmix our flour. Here I have my cookie sheet that has been buttered. So this is a 12 by 17 inch cookie sheet. Something in and around that size is perfectly fine. Don't worry if yours isn't exactly the same size. So I buttered this tray, but I didn't line it because you don't have to take the cake out of the tray. You're actually going to serve your cake from the tray. So you don't need to lift it out of there. It makes life so much easier. So go ahead and pour in your batter and just spread it out all to the corners with your spatula. So here's a little tip to make sure that your cake is really even. Just give it a little bang on the countertop, a little bit of a shake, and just let it find its way and settle itself, and then you get the right thickness all around. Bake at 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 180 degrees Celsius for roughly 20 to 25 minutes. It does bake fast. While that is in the oven, I am going to show you how to make a 5-minute chocolate frosting. You're not going to want to miss it. Into my blender, I'm going to add in my evaporated milk, some sugar, and melted bittersweet chocolate. And then all you have to do is just blend it all together until it's smooth. I know I said 5 minutes, but that didn't even take that long. Look at that, gorgeous frosting. So as you can see, this is quite thin, so you can pour this on top of your cake right now, or you can set it aside and will actually firm up because of the chocolate in there. And then you can use it almost like a buttercream to frost any of your chocolate cakes. But right now, I'm gonna pour this all over my sheet cake. The good thing about a pouring thin frosting is that it just finds its own way. You don't really need to decorate this cake, it's so simple. And let it just even out a little bit. Gorgeous. Okay, so legit Texas sheet cake is decorated very simply with some chopped toasted pecans on top. Pecans are my favorite nut, so I'm all about this. Make sure you toast them beforehand so you get a much better flavor, and they're also nice and crispy to eat. Gorgeous. I'm going to set this over to the side, let that frosting set for a little bit, and then come back and slice it. Once you try this cake, you will see how incredibly soft and delicious it is. Without a doubt, this is the most tender cake that I have ever made, that I've ever tasted. It is so soft. It is gooey. The frosting on top is absolutely delicious. And that black cocoa, it makes it like one big giant brownie Oreo slab of deliciousness. Texas sheet cake is perfect for any celebration, communion, baptism, whatever you've got going on this summer, bring this big old Texas sheet cake and I guarantee you'll be the most popular person at the party.